Hello, Cancer, and welcome to my channel, Tarot by Gabrielle. This is going to be a general reading for Sun, Moon, Rising, and Venus signs, looking at your connection to the person that you are dealing with and needing to learn the most from right now. We're looking at all three sides of it. We've got your energy toward it, their energy toward it, and the energy in between it. The concept being that there are three sides to every story. So we're looking at your perception of this connection, their perception, and then this higher level unbiased truth in the middle. These energies can absolutely be swapped. So if you resonate more with the energy to my right than to my left, that is totally fine and totally normal. The point of these readings is for you to take what resonates and helps your personal situation and leave what does not. These are general readings. They will not resonate fully for everyone. As always, we have a different tarot deck we'll be diving into for each side of the connection, but I've gone ahead and pulled the overall energy and clarified that. So we will dive into that first. Any information on the extended reading or on booking a personal reading with me is in the description box below. All right, Cancer. On your side of this connection, you have Shadow with the Nine of Swords. This connection heavily pokes at your insecurities. I feel like it, the shadow side of us is that kind of unhealed. We all have it. We all have a shadow side. The unhealed side of us that is still looking to be loved and accepted, right? And healing's a lifelong journey, so we all have a shadow side. Now, I feel like this connection brings up these insecurities more than any connection really has in the past for you, because all connections can poke at our insecurities, right? That's just kind of the way it goes with human beings. But I feel like this connection in particular pokes at them more than a connection ever really has before, like I said. Now, this person has veiled with the Five of Wands. This person holds back in this connection in some way, shape, or form. I feel like I don't necessarily know if it's like a lack of honesty or just in general kind of putting on kind of this mask for this connection. And I feel like this person, this veiled energy, which we'll hopefully get some more information on with tarot, but it seems to be kind of the root of a lot of the conflict that exists in this connection, is like this person's inability to kind of take off their mask, be vulnerable, be honest, just kind of be real, right? Now, ultimately, when people are dealing with their own insecurities, that's when they'll kind of put on that mask and try to be, try to portray themselves as someone that they aren't really. Now, in between this connection, my dog just freaked out for some reason. In between this connection, there is time with the Seven of Pentacles in reverse. I feel like what I'm seeing here, like what I hear, is like time will reveal all. Like, I don't know what that means yet, but like time will reveal all. And I feel like it will allow you to make the best possible decision for yourself in this connection. Because I feel like there's something, I don't know if it's something that this person is holding back or something that you haven't yet been able to see, or a breakthrough that's needed or something, but it's like something over time will help you kind of reevaluate this connection in a way that is like from like a perspective of like what's best for you. Now, that's kind of vague. So let's see. Let's start by looking at Cancer's side of this connection, clarifying Shadow with the Nine of Swords. This is Cancer's side of the connection. This is Cancer's side of the connection, clarifying Shadow with the Nine of Swords here. Ooh, right out of the gate, Cancer. The Lover's in reverse with the Ten of Wands. In some way, shape, or form, you have had to bear the burden of this person's stuff. So, for instance, if they struggle with emotional unavailability, or if they struggle with just kind of past trauma or insecurities or whatever the case is, I feel like in a way they've kind of put a lot of that on you. And you we're dealing with your own stuff. And it's hard to handle someone else's stuff when you're still kind of working through your own. There's a difference between helping someone work through their stuff and bearing the burden of it. Now, this Lovers in Reverse card is an energy of not fully seeing your worth and not really fully knowing what it is that you are deserving of. And I feel like this person poked a lot at this. Like, I feel like they made you feel like you weren't deserving, like kind of took away your power a little bit, maybe made you feel small or made you feel like not good enough in some way, shape, or form. And maybe they didn't mean to, but the way that their energy, and it could be like the way they held back, like they weren't fully honest. And so you were kind of left to look at things, because the first way that we view a situation is through the lens of our own insecurities and fear. And so if they're holding back and not being honest, the first way you're going to kind of view their actions or inactions is going to be through the lens of your insecurity and fear, which is going to cause you to kind of stress about different things. And that can be a huge rabbit hole. All right, this person's, or Cancer's energy toward this person. The way my dog is watching a squirrel right now is very funny. All right, this person's energy. Why do I keep saying this person's? Cancer's energy toward this person. It's definitely shuffled for Cancer's energy. Cancer's energy toward this person. You don't feel super hopeful about this connection, I feel like. I feel like this has weighed on you for quite some time. This could even be a past connection. This could be a connection that isn't currently in your life, but you're still kind of dealing with the repercussions of. I want more on the Six of Wands in reverse, though, because I feel like there's more to this. Clarifying the Six of Wands in reverse. Clarifying the Six of Wands in reverse. See, but then there's a perception that's needed. And here you are, Cancer, is the Queen of Cups, being a water sign, whether you're male or female. What does the Six of Cups in reverse say? Six of Wands in reverse. I almost feel like there's something I'm missing about the card as a whole. I don't do this often, but I feel there's a need or a word that I'm missing. I'm not keeping cards from you. These are 2 additional major arcanas in this deck that I don't use in these readings since we're using 3 different tarot decks. But I feel like there's a word here that I'm missing with this Six of Wands. So the words are egotism, misdirection, doubt, and neglect. Misdirection is the word, but what exactly is it saying? Because it feels like it almost feels, Cancer, like you have had this tendency. That's funny. I did that backwards. Like you have had this tendency to choose people, relationships, both romantic and otherwise, that in the end kind of do you wrong. Like bring up this Lovers in reverse energy, this energy of making you feel very not good enough, not loved, or not valued. And it feels like this is something that either happens or has happened a lot for you, where you get into a situation with someone and then it ends up feeling like you are just like completely undervalued in the end. And it's not just romantic relationships. This is friendships too. And with the misdirection, I feel like that was more of a message for me to kind of to bring this one to my mind about how like it's like your picker's broken in a way. Now there's a reason for that, right? There's a reason that you're attracting these kinds of individuals. Like there's a reason, there's a lesson here, right? We always attract what we need to learn. So let me get more. This is for Cancer's side of this connection. Cancer's side of this connection. But you're stuck on this one in particular. You're stuck on this one in particular. There's the Queen of Swords. Could be dealing with an air sign, Gemini, Libra, Aquarius. Definitely don't have to be. Just call it out as I see it. It's like, for some reason, like, yes, you've been treated poorly in the past, but for some reason, this connection is the one that has you the most stuck. And I feel like it's because they reflect your full shadow side back to you. Like maybe other connections reflected like aspects of it, but this connection is reflected like all of it, like all the insecurities kind of coming up at once. And I feel like it's got you very in your head. Like even if this connection is over, you're still very in your head about it. Cancer side of this connection to the person they are dealing with. Does Cancer side of this connection, please? Okay. Okay. So we saw the Six of Wands in reverse with the Hierophant in reverse, right? And then here's the Knight of Wands in reverse, which is a card of sabotage. Cancer, you have got to stop bearing the burden of other people's problems. I feel like that is such, like you might be a person who tends to seek people out that maybe need to be fixed, or you feel like you see their potential and you want to help them reach that, or you ignore red flags out of the hope that they don't become a problem later on or something along those lines. And the thing is, in this misdirection card that's kind of coming to fruition, because we saw the Hierophant in reverse, which is like this need to change your perception about why you keep attracting these kinds of individuals into your life, is to realize that you've actually kind of been sabotaging yourself. Now, remember, 95% of our movements, choices, and decisions come from our subconscious, meaning that only 5% of the way that you interact with your reality is conscious. And those 95% of that 95% of us is going to be a product based on what we've experienced. If you've experienced betrayal or manipulation or abandonment or anything of that sort, you have internalized, these certain experiences as I am unlovable, I am undeserving, I am incapable of love or having a loving relationship, whatever the case is. And those beliefs that you have internalized, they are not your fault. Your trauma is not your fault. What has happened to you is not your fault, right? And I cannot stress that enough. The where these beliefs stem from is your fault, but the way that they sabotage you is not your fault. But the way that they sabotage you, it is your responsibility to get to the core of how those beliefs play a role in your relationships. Because there could be 5% of you that's saying, I really want a healthy relationship. I really want things to work out. I really want to be able to communicate in a healthy way. I want to be able to have a reciprocal relationship. I want mutual respect, all of these things. But then there's a 95% of you that doesn't feel deserving or capable or whatever the case is of those things, and is going to act in accordance with those beliefs. And so there's a part of your belief system that's causing you to continue to choose relationships that make you feel this way. And a part of it comes down to the fact that you have a tendency to bear the burden of other people's problems, emotional problems, most likely. So, for instance, kind of the most common one is when you don't feel deserving of love, you will often chase after people who are emotionally unavailable, because your ego likes to be right. Your brain likes to be right. So if you don't feel deserving of love, your brain's going to chase individuals that are not going to be able to provide you with that love, so that you can say, see, I told you so, I'm not deserving, right? And so it happens all the time. If for those who are chasing emotionally unavailable relationships, it's because you don't believe you are deserving of someone who is emotionally available. I've been there. So there's no judgment from me. But there is this need to understand that it stems from a deeper part of you. And this person was it feels like a past relationship, but is a major lesson in this and everything we just talked about. All right, Cancer side of this connection. Talking a lot in this reading, Cancer. See, the hardest thing here is you did see the potential with the Ten of Pentacles. You saw the long-term potential here, so much so that you were willing, with the Empress in reverse, to sacrifice your own needs now, thinking that they would be taken care of later on. And I feel like they weren't. But here's that Wheel of Fortune in reverse. This is a karmic cycle that you have. You have a tendency to ignore red flags in the beginning because you think that, over time they're going to fix, or maybe this person will see your worth enough where those won't be problems anymore, or maybe eventually you'll help this person see their worth, or whatever the case might be. And in the end, you end up getting yourself stuck in the same old cycle over and over again. And I feel like, it's hard when you're experiencing the same thing over and over again to go, of course you're going to be like, it must be me. It's me. I'm not deserving. I'm not capable of a healthy, loving relationship. And in reality, it's not that you aren't deserving, it's that you believe you aren't. And that within itself is the problem. So I get it. You see the potential of this person, you see the long-term potential here, but that doesn't mean that the potential you see in this person doesn't exist in another person, right? And that was something that I realized is in my past relationships, before I met my current partner, I was always looking for the potential of someone else. And then I realized that the potential of the person that I was looking for existed in another person. And then I found that person, and, it kind of solved itself there. But, we often kind of search for something that isn't meant for us. We search for what's meant for us in something that isn't meant for us. That makes sense. All right, Cancer's side of this connection. One more for Cancer's side of this connection, please. Your expectations. 10 of Cups in reverse. You have certain expectations of this person that they're not able to live up to. One of the things that my therapist told me that probably helped me the absolute most in my relationships was, she said, it's easy to take it personally, and I don't remember obviously word for word what she said, but the gist was, it's easy to take it personally when someone doesn't show up for us or doesn't treat us like we deserve, or whatever the case is, because, it's easy to say there's something about me that's making this person not able to do this, or not doing, and to make this person not willing to do this. And oftentimes, it's actually not that they're not willing, it's not that they're not capable. Because someone can only love you, care for you, trust you, meet you to the extent that they have done all those things to themselves. So if you're looking for someone to love you in the right way, what you're asking them to do is love themselves in the right way. And if you're doing that, then you're taking it upon yourself to be in charge of their healing. And unfortunately, people do not heal for other people. They heal because they think they need to. And they only realize that when they realize they need to, not when we want them to, right? And so searching for that potential in somebody is searching for the potential that you deserve, right? So it's not that you're not capable of having what you deserve. It's that you're looking for it in the wrong person, because I do not feel like this person gives you what you deserve. But let's start by looking at this person's energy. Veiled with the 5 of Wands here. This person's energy toward Cancer, please. This person's energy toward Cancer. One more. This is this person's energy toward Cancer. I don't like the way that fell out. Okay. This person's energy toward Cancer. What does Cancer need to know about this person's energy? Ooh. This person has a tendency to betray themselves. It's King of Wands in reverse, and you could be dealing with fire sign, Aries, Leo, Sagittarius. Again, you don't have to be. Just call it as I see it. They are riddled with this self-doubt here. And that self-doubt, and I felt that with this failed card. It's like they hold back from being 100% authentic because I feel like they don't actually believe that their authenticity is deserving of love, right? So they have a tendency to betray themselves here with the 10 of Swords. Now, this 10 of Swords, in the way that they betray themselves, probably projects that on you too. Because remember, they are a projection of their shadow self. So the way that they treat you or don't treat you, or whatever the case is meant to trigger your insecurities, because those insecurities are needing to be brought to the surface so that you stop choosing individuals from that place, from that 95% of you, right? This person's energy toward Cancer. This person's energy toward Cancer, please. Ooh, what's this 8 of Coins? Yeah, so I feel like they're really working on they're really focused on like their material stability in some way. Like they're really focused on like their priorities aren't in alignment because they're not working on like their healing, they're working on what's outside of them. Remember, the quote is as above, so below, as within, so without. So your external world is going to be reflected by the work you've done within, right? If you do work externally without doing work within, that external work will not be sustainable because the work that you haven't done within will eventually catch up to you. And you'll sabotage whatever abundance that you are able to create away. And so I'm saying that like it's like they're so focused on their material world that I feel like they don't prioritize or didn't prioritize this connection. I feel like that was probably a pretty big trigger for you. Because they definitely held back from this. What does Cancer need to know about this person's energy toward them? This person's energy toward Cancer. See, they have met this misdirection too. This is a pretty mirrored connection. Meaning, your misdirection is you're both searching for love, abundance, and fulfillment in the wrong places because you're searching for it through them and they're searching for it outside of them as well, but in different areas. And I feel like that is a reflection within you. Now, I also feel at the same time that, okay, I'm going to keep pulling. This person's energy toward Cancer. I'm going to reshuffle. What does Cancer need to know about this person's energy toward them? Does Cancer need to know about this person's energy toward them? Does Cancer need to know about this person's energy toward them? See, this is another like card for like materialistic. Like they're really focused on their like materialistic goals. Like they're not really focused on like their emotional goals or emotional well-being. I feel like they really do. It feels like that kind of person that like really puts on a front for the rest of the world, like in a way that like maybe if you guys did have some sort of a close and intimate connection, like you knew them in a way that the world didn't, because they have that veil, they have that mask that they kind of wear. But I don't feel like you ever really knew them either, because like you haven't. Maybe you do. I don't want to say that. I don't want to. Obviously, you know your connection better than I do, but there's this level of like them not being totally vulnerable and upfront about like who they really are, what they really feel. Now, a part of that, right, is because they do have these insecurities, but at the same time, it's almost like because there's the Six of Pentacles in reverse. It's like that's why they can't reciprocate you, is because if you don't put out authentic energy, you're not going to get authentic energy back, right? Oh, don't walk through there. My dog just walked past my camera. These dogs are getting really tired of me doing readings today. All right, this person's energy toward Cancer. I feel like that last message was a little confusing. Hopefully I can clear it up. This person's energy toward Cancer, please. This person's energy toward Cancer. See, I feel they walked away. I feel like they walked away from this connection. someone walked away here. I felt that from the beginning, that this was something that wasn't currently together. And then there's the Eight of Cups, because there's the Five of Wands. It's like they're at war with themselves, right? They have they're fighting with their insecurities and their ability to open up and all of this. And it's being projected as them kind of being at war with you, which is how it always works, right? Our inner struggles, our inner conflict is always projected into our outer conflict. Just got so worried that was off because I just took a break before this reading. And so I feel like that's kind of what happened here. And so I feel like this connection made them face things that made them very uncomfortable, because, facing someone who reflects you back to you is having to face yourself. And that is hard. It's hard to do for anyone. And I feel like if this person did walk away, they walked away because they couldn't handle doing that. This person's energy toward Cancer. This person's energy toward Cancer. I didn't call it out, but there's the King of Pentacles too. So we have an earth sign. Pretty sure we've had all of the signs come out by now. Four of Swords. What is this saying? Clarifying the Four of Swords. It's not that they didn't have love for you. Okay, it's not that they didn't have love for you. It's what? Okay, so then it's bringing back up this Five of Wands with the Nine of Cups in reverse, and then this King of Swords in reverse. And then there's the Five of Swords and the Ten of Swords. Remember how I said that they have a tendency to betray themselves, right? It's not that they didn't have love for you. It's that they didn't have any idea what to do with it. And I feel like because of that, maybe it feels like they kind of had a tendency to be a little bit more like manipulative and controlling, because this connection made them feel really out of control. It made them have to face some of those hard things about themselves that they didn't want to face. And so instead of actually facing and dealing with it, they turned to trying to control the situation. And that control probably came through manipulation, or, like I said, like just kind of up and walking away, ghosting, even, like things of that nature. And I feel like that is really important for you to understand, that this person's actions and treatment of you, or inactions, or whatever the case is, it had nothing to do with you or your value, and everything to do with the fact that they were not in a place to be able to meet you where you were ready to be met. I said needed. Were you ready to be met? And I feel like it's wildly important that you understand that this wasn't about your value. This wasn't about you not being good enough. This wasn't about you not being deserving. It was about you hoping that someone who wasn't capable of giving you what you deserved eventually one day did. And they didn't. They never did, because they weren't capable of it. And it had nothing to do with you. And maybe you're like, oh, well, they moved on to the next person and they're super willing of giving them what they deserve. I bet you they're not. I bet you they're not. Even if they took steps that they didn't take with you, someone who isn't capable of loving someone to the fullest extent can't just change overnight. It takes some really deep inner work and self-reflection to be able to actually heal and grow in that manner. So it has nothing to do with you, Cancer. And I feel like it's really important that you see that. Now, you have your own thing going on, right? Looking at why you have a tendency to choose these kinds of situations that make you feel unlovable and make you feel undeserving, and why you have that belief that you are undeserving, which is why you search for that outcome in your reality in an unconscious manner. So you got your own thing going on, but understand that the way that they've acted, or the things that they did or said or whatever, had nothing to do with your worth and your value. All right. And I feel like it's like you have the Time and the Seven of Pentacles in reverse, right? It's like time will tell. So I feel like I don't know. We'll get more information on that. We're hopping over to the extended. I've got 9 different messages I'm going to pull with an advice card that I'm going to pull at the very end. Thank you so much, Cancer, as always, for your support of my channel. I do hope that this reading helped and resonated with you in a way that you are needing today. And as always, I wish you nothing but love and healing on your journey moving forward. All right, bye, Cancer.